the man plans his battle plan. So the enemy might do this, so I need to plan contingencies so I can have the upper hand. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. I think it's still important to plan. You have no plan, then you're just going to be winging it. Because if you have no plan, fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Welcome to the Dangerous Man Podcast, where we talk about how to become a better man, take responsibility for our mission, create value for others, and the many failures and lessons we've learned along the way. Stay dangerous. When we start to pursue these types of ambitions, I think for any man, whether it's going to be I want to build a $100 million business, or if it's I want to make like $300,000 a year, or I want to become an Olympian or something like that. Let's take some big goals out there that people have. I want to particularly keep it more business conversational for kind of what my niche is and what my interests are. But I mean, think big. When you do want to start to pick one of these things to go after as a man, what I've been finding is there's like a lot of just like everything all of a sudden jumps out of the woodwork and starts to be like an excuse or a person that's a naysayer or someone who's like has an opinion, or even just like I just found the other day, this week, I was like, man, I'm starting to carve out all this time I have some days off, and I'm literally going to just start to work on my business. And out of the woodwork, all my insecurities came out. People were like, hey, you want to hang out? Or just like, the gym's closed on Thanksgiving Day. Stuff like that. And it's like, all of a sudden, it's like I have all these things that are weighing up and building this brick wall in front of me that's making it hard for me to achieve this. And I think a lot of people they'll pick a goal. Like, I want to run, I used this example in another episode, but I want to run a half marathon. And then all of a sudden it rains and they're like, well, I'm not going to go for a run today. It's raining. I see people literally going for a run today. I'm like, I doubt they were doing that the rest of the week. They're like, oh, but it's 40 out. I'm going to go for a run. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with going outside and going for a run when it's nice. But I think the more idea is like, it made me think, are they actually doing this all the time? Yeah,
like, is the person that's outside running when it's 40, are they running when it's 25 degrees?
Yeah, because somebody who's training for something and they're serious and they're actually going to make their goals, they have committed and they've dialed in a black and white routine that they stick to. And there's no like, oh, well, I guess I don't feel like it today. Or, yeah, I guess it's like, it's cloudy today or it's rainy today, so I'm not going to do it. And it's like, you get like a David Goggins type of guy. He's just like literally going to destroy you. Like, he's going to go and compete and he's going to beat you.
Because he'll run a marathon with a failing liver or a kidney or something.
It was his heart. Yeah. He literally had like a heart cavity that was like, he had this predisposed condition. So he's literally getting like 30% less oxygen to his body than any other person. He's doing ultra marathons, running like 100-mile race in like 24 hours. And at any rate, Adam and I want to just kind of talk about what's been kind of happening to us. These are like some concepts and some monologue rants that were going on. And to be honest, like, I'm a little angsty this week, and I have these goals. I want to become this person, and sometimes there's just bullshit that comes up, and it pisses me the fuck off. And today I'm really feeling that, and I think so is Adam. Yeah, and we just want to be real guys that like. Sometimes you hear stuff and it's like, man, I really want to do that. But it's like, the way they position it makes it sound so hard and so challenging. And I think what our goal here is, we just want to like share that like life is hard no matter what you decide to do. But these are some of the particular challenges I think that happen when a guy really wants to start to get his shit together. And I think they're actually really good problems to have. But with that said, Adam, do you like, you just want to kind of talk about what your experience was the last couple of days here with that?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of like, kind of this whole subject is like, when you try to actually go for something bigger, make more out of your life, and like go for, shoot for the moon kind of thing, and like really try to get your shit together and like get dialed and figure everything out, and you know, get skills and be able to provide value for other people, immediately you just run into so many objections, so many naysayers, so many obstacles, and so much like, and like half of it's all in your own head of like, well, you can't do this.
Yeah.
You're not capable of that. We haven't done this before. And I think that's because you're moving from a state of comfortability to a state of trying to do something great. And, you know, the hardest part of working out is probably just getting off the couch. Like, I never noticed, like, after a workout, I'm never like, man, why'd I have to come and work out today?
Yeah.
I'm never that way after workout. You're always like, man, why do I have to go to a workout when you're going to the workout? But then once you're at the gym, then you're like, well, I'm already here. I might as well fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, really the hardest part is when you are trying to do something that's good, but good things are also getting in the way. Like I was spending a lot of time with my family over Thanksgiving, and you know, like
As one
does, right? If you're not spending time with your family over Thanksgiving, like, who are you? Definitely spend time with your family over Thanksgiving if possible.
100%.
But we generally, as a family, like, stay up late and play games. That's just kind of what we've done.
Yeah.
But now when I'm trying to be like, okay, I want to get up early and I want to work out and stuff, like, staying up late and playing games probably isn't the best thing for me. But in that moment, it's like, oh,
Right.
This is what we do. This is fun. I enjoy staying up and late and playing games. And it's not like we're playing video games. We're playing card games, as the family does. And it's a lot of fun. We're, you know, having snacks, drinking drinks. I don't know if none of them were alcoholic though, I think, which is interesting, but
That's a shame.
yeah, a little bit of shame there. I think it was like some weird, like, cranberry cider. It really wasn't that great, honestly.
Adam's like,
would not
where's the scotch?
It's like, would not recommend the cranberry cider from Aldi. It's just a glorified juice.
Don't do it, guys. Don't get it.
Don't get it. It's glorified juice. But like, in that, it's like I had a fun time while I was there, but then, like,
Right.
I couldn't get up really the next morning. So I was just like,
Yeah, like, what happened with that the next morning?
yeah, I think it's mostly just like, one, being tired, but also being like, oh, like, why can't I just be a little kid and, you know, not have responsibility? And that's kind of like the thing is like, what I experience when I'm with my family is I, like, revert back to being like a child in a way, or younger than I am in a way.
Yeah, like, let's talk about that, because that's a super interesting thing of, like, I mean, one thing that I've really found myself is, like, when you are in an environment, that environment really affects you.
Yeah.
And to drive that home, like, I would just recommend you read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, because
absolutely,
Atomic Habits is all about talking about the science of habits and how to take little habits that compound over time to become more disciplined routines. Super good stuff. But, like, where this comes in here is he's like, you'll have these, literally, like, in Vietnam, had all of these military guys that were just super addicted to, I'm trying to remember what drug it was.
I'm pretty sure it was meth, but
yeah, it could
there
be
might be
meth,
somebody out there that
or
will correct me.
cocaine, something like that. Yeah,
I want to say it was meth, but I might be incorrect on that.
yeah. We'll go with that for the story. So, just totally addicted to meth because it was a stressful environment. One, it was the military, right?
It also might have been heroin, now that I think about it. But continue. Just say drugs.
Yeah, drugs.
We don't know which one
drugs
it was.
and things and stuff. and what they were finding is everyone was doing it because it was accessible. It was there. People were it was like in the environment. It was in the place, and people were all doing it because they just were super stressed and, like, to deal with war. The moment, and these guys were, like, literally addicted, doing it, like, all the time.
Because war is hell.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine in that sense. And they get back to the U.S. and none of these guys are doing drugs.
Yeah. And
What's interesting about that, wasn't drugs in their families or in their environments. And so they literally just, those habits went away.
Yeah. They like quit cold turkey when they came back, and they had like no urges to do it just because they were not in the same environment at all.
Yeah. And so it's super interesting going back into an environment where you've been, like your childhood, like in your family.
Yeah.
And after like doing something like what Adam and I have done, where we go away, we go away from home, we go on mission, we do summer sails. We, you know, in my case, I've lived, you know, I think it's been like 6 years since I've lived at home with my parents. I've gone and done all kinds of other things, moving to other states, living in other houses, other cities. And but there's still like that temptation going back to home, to what's comfortable, and just seeing that come back. But
yeah, and also like your family's expectations of you are kind of like the same as when you like left. So like it's gonna be the same as it always was. That's like, whoa. Actually, I've matured more, and I'm like my motivations are different than they were when I was a child, because
preach.
I'm trying to be a dangerous man now. And I think to help with that, it'd be helpful to like put boundaries and like say like, hey, like beforehand, like, hey, I'm trying to go to bed at this time. And then when it comes to that time, like, hey guys, I'm trying to get up earlier, so I'm going to go to bed. It's fun, you know, hanging out with the family. Love all you guys. I'm going to leave and go to bed now.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, that's like a sign of maturity too. Because I think like I would probably say that and I'd leave. And then I bet my parents would be like, wow, he's matured a lot. I think that's what would happen. But it's so easy when it's like that environment to just be in the old habits of, oh, we're staying up till past midnight playing games.
And no one would bat an eye.
Yeah, no one would bat an eye.
Yeah, and that's the super interesting thing. But yeah, it's the dilemma that I'm kind of coming into is just like, how do you get to a point where you're able to articulate that? And quite honestly, like where I found a lot of improvement in my life, becoming more dangerous, you could say, in that sense of like having my boundaries be much more articulated, much more clear, is I've actually kind of learned you have to like kind of know what your goals are and kind of what your plan is to get there. So the simple idea is like, hey, I want to get a 6-pack. Okay, well, then you probably need to be going to the gym every day and probably doing some sort of ab workouts. Not just some sort, but you literally need to have a plan of, I do these exercises and whatnot. And if your ability to get up and go to the gym, maybe the only time you have in your day is the morning. For a lot of people, that's the case. If you can't get up and go to the gym because you were out late and so you slept in, all of a sudden it's like that goal becomes way more hard, much more impossible to accomplish. But the guy who's like either like, no, I'm going to get up anyways because I have this goal, or they're going to say, what I think is more healthy is probably to say, like, actually, I need to go to bed at this time to get 8 hours of sleep or whatever your number is, so that I can get up at this time because I have this routine I do that includes, you know, taking your prayer time, that includes some kind of meditation, includes breakfast, the gym, some sort of reading, maybe whatever your morning routine is.
Yeah.
And they know that, and they know that they need to do that every day at the same time to be consistent. And the ability to have that in your mind already, I guess what I'm trying to get at is it has to be black and white. Like, I do these things, there is no exception.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an exception, but you know, you would have to like know a week ahead of time, like, oh, this is coming up. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna be willing to stay up late and I'm gonna rearrange my schedule this way. But like, you were intentional with that.
Yeah. You have to plan the exception.
Exactly. That's exactly the phrase.
It's like, I could be like, oh, I'm staying up late with my family, therefore I'm going to sleep in. But the next day, because I have that free too, I will get up and then go to the gym anyway.
Yeah. Time block that shit.
Yeah. Time block, reschedule, whatever you got to do. But actually like plan that in, and then also be like, hey, is this in line with my goals? Is this in line with what I want to do with my life?
Yeah. And like, if I I'll be with people, and this was a classic example for me, but I'd be like hanging out and it's 8 p.m. and it's like, okay, I should probably go soon. I'm going to be in bed at 9. But then it's like, oh, well, I'll stay a little long. I'll stay up tonight. I can do that. That's fine. It'll be fun. I don't do this that often. And you start justifying it.
Yeah.
Or you're like, oh, I could go to the gym later.
It's really funny because in that situation, you're actually being disobedient.
Yeah.
You're being disobedient to yourself.
Yes.
To the plans that you've made.
And you won't be able to respect yourself later because of it.
Yeah.
That's what's really going to get you.
Yeah. It's a loss. It's a loss.
And label it as that.
Yeah.
Like people justify that. I'm like, oh, well, I think I needed the extra. It's like, dude, you're at a freaking loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, figure out how to win more,
Yeah. And
that's a big L.
The other point I want to make about that is like, if you are in the moment deciding that you're going to just delay your plans the next day, that is the wrong time to be planning. In fact, that's not planning. That's being That's being, I think, I'm trying to remember the book this is from, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's like, that's being a reactive person, reacting to your environment, not a proactive person. Yeah. That's being proactive and taking responsibility for his life.
Yeah. Because you want to be proactive.
That's a child versus a man.
Yeah. Because like the man, plans his battle plan and is like, all right, so the enemy might do this, and this other thing. So I need to plan contingencies for all of those and then potentially try to figure out a way to just circumnavigate all of those so I can, have the upper hand. Now, obviously, like when there's kind of a saying like, I want to say, I forget which boxer said it, but I want to say it was Mike Tyson or something like that, but it might not be him. But he basically says, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. But I think it's still important to plan, because if you have no plan, then you're just going to be winging it. And kind of like as the saying goes, like if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Wow.
So I think it's...
I was going to make something up, but that's actually really good. I like that one.
I don't remember where that's from. I think it's just in my brain now, and I'll probably run into the book that it's from, and I'll be like, oh, this one. And then I'll probably mention it on a later podcast.
And we'll share that secret sauce with you guys, 100%. Well, thanks for joining us on the Dangerous Man podcast, guys. We want you to stay dialed in. We're definitely going to continue to sauce some book recommendations out and whatnot. I think that the wrapping point on what we're talking about today, where we're mentioning like this whole planning aspect. We're mentioning, what happens when you run into good things and you compromise your plans, and the types of challenges that are constantly arise, the different people that want your attention, the different good things that you're like, oh, well, I could say yes to that. Everything that you want to say yes to, or just any shit that could go bad. You get sick. And I guess the point here is, this is all going to happen when you decide to become a better person. And many people will decide to be a better person, and not even a week in, they give up because they're faced with these things. And so just the reality that, to be a dangerous man, we really contend with life. Real men are contenders. They're in the fight. And I think that's something we want to talk about in a new episode, the man in the arena, the guys who are contending with life. The guys are like, actually, I expected this to happen, and this is my response because I already planned out what would happen. Adam, you just want to close with that quote one more time, that planning one?
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Don't be failures, guys. Be dangerous.